Welcome back. So the draw has been done. If you're just joining us, let's just confirm what we've just seen unfold in Turkey, in Istanbul, where the final will take place at the end of the season, and Liverpool will face Ajax, Napoli and Rangers. That's not a bad-looking group at all for them. What about Group C? Look at that: Bayern Munich, Barcelona and Inter Milan. Just 14 European titles between those three clubs. Victoria Pilsen have their work cut out, it's fair to say, to qualify. Tottenham will go and have a smile on his face when he saw that Frankfurt, Sporting and Marseille were the three teams that came out of Group D. Maybe he was just fancying a trip to Marseille, who knows. And in the other four groups, we can tell you that Chelsea play AC Milan, Salzburg and Dinamo Zagreb. Celtic, you look at that and you think Celtic may well have a chance to go through, and they also get a really nice glamour tie against Real Madrid. We think Manchester City will be happy with that, and Paris Saint-Germain and Juve is also a cracking tie in Group H in the Champions League. Well, let's get straight to it then. Liverpool Rangers, first time they will meet in European competition.
Yeah, I think Liverpool's draw is possibly the most difficult out of the British teams. They played Ajax and Napoli in recent years. Of course, when Carlo was manager of Napoli, they played. Tough place to go, but they're not the teams they were. Ajax have sold a lot of players, but Liverpool Rangers stands out. As we spoke about the Battle of Britain. We had it a number of years ago when Celtic and Manchester City met each other. But it's brilliant. I'm really looking forward to it. Sometimes you need something to catch your imagination, and I think all the British teams have got away with it with a difficult one. Yeah. But it's great to see Liverpool and Rangers. They know each other, and of course Liverpool fans will be happy going up to Glasgow. You see, Steve says that that's the hardest group for any of the Premier League teams. He's probably right, but that's only in the context
British
of
teams,
the
by the way.
British teams, not Premier League teams.
That's only in the context of the draw, though, isn't it? Because if you look at that, actually, Liverpool fans will be pretty happy with that, I think.
Yeah, of course, especially even off the back of last season. On paper, it looked a lot worse, but they managed to win pretty much every game, if not every game. So, yeah, you would say that, but also Celtic as well. That looks pretty difficult for them. But again, I think it's been kind to all the British teams. Yeah. I don't think anyone will be pessimistic about their group, and they'll all believe they can qualify.
What do you make of Liverpool's start to the season?
Well, it's not as good as they would like it to be. They've got a lot of injuries at the moment, Jake. I don't think you can... key players out in my eyes. They've got it's very difficult to set a standard and keep it, and they've had to do that back-to-back seasons now, and I think that's the problem. They've had the two domestic cups they won. All's not well there, but I think they've got enough quality on and off the pitch, i.e. Klopp and his experience, to turn it back round and get themselves going again. But they can't, on a domestic level, they cannot afford to let City or anyone else, go 4, 5 points, 6 points away from them so early in the season. But it's a long, hard season to come. As for the group, I'm delighted as a neutral, really. Liverpool Rangers going to be something special.
Yeah,
it really is.
What will Rangers be feeling about those three teams they face?
I think if you look into it and analyse the sides, they'll be fairly happy. Ajax are a name and Napoli are a name, we know that. But if you go into it, Ajax have sold a lot of players in the summer, a lot of really important players, like they do, and they may lose another one to Manchester United. We'll wait and see. So I don't think that should scare them. It's an easy trip over to Amsterdam. Napoli are the same. It's a difficult place to go. The stadium and that area around the stadium is very hardcore, and the stadium's fallen down, so it's not a great place to go. I went a couple of years ago to watch Liverpool and they struggle there. So that's, again, it's hard. But when you look at the side and you analyse the players, they've lost players. Koulibaly, of course, has gone to Chelsea. So there's nothing to worry about if you're Rangers when you look at it. Yes, the names are strong, but when you look deeper and further into the sides and who they've got, Rangers shouldn't fear anybody there.
In some ways, that's quite nice, isn't it? I mean, they were brilliant to get through against PSV in the playoffs, but actually, not only are two of those teams you were not necessarily beatable, but easier than they have been in the past, but also on those nights at Ibrox, Ajax, Napoli and Liverpool, those are it just feels like a good European game.
Yeah, huge. And if you look at all them in isolation, all them atmospheres have created iconic moments in this competition. So I don't think any of the teams will be in fear of going to any away ground because, like you say, we talk about Rangers, but Anfield is nostalgic kind of Champions League. Not Ajax has created its own moments, and Napoli have as well. So I think in terms of atmosphere, that is probably the most exciting group out of the lot.
Yeah, brilliant for Rangers. A great reward for all their hard work and the fact they've made it through. Let's have a look then at another group involving Manchester City. It was going to happen. Glenn Say watched this and he went, football always does this. Erling Haaland.
Yeah,
against Dortmund.
Yeah, sentimental elements to that, of course, but looking at him and meeting him briefly, I'm sure he's determined to go there and score goals and win the game. But yeah, in terms of the competition and what that's going to bring around that tie, they obviously worked well together in terms of Haaland and and Dortmund. So, yeah, there'll be a lot of sentimental elements to the game in the build-up and around on the night, but both teams and players are professional, and they'll just want an outcome for their respective teams.
He'd be loving that draw, though,
Yeah.
Jolin, wouldn't he? He'd be absolutely jumping on the bit to go back there and do what he's doing here, what we're showing. I mean, this is his goal against West Ham. Look, runs round it left foot. He's just got everything, this lad. Absolutely everything. There's not one part of his game that you're questioning. And what is he, 22? He's going to get better and better and better. For 51 million, that is the buy entry.
And we keep on asking the question, why will it be different for Manchester City this season? Maybe his name is the answer. Erling Haaland is the reason why it might just be different in Europe for them this season.
Yes, and they need a little bit of luck, Jake. You could say Real Madrid had a bit of luck last year. You need a little bit of luck if you're going to win this competition. You know, Manchester City had virtually beaten Real Madrid, and something happened in last 5 minutes or before that when the shot from Jack Grealish was cleared off the line, and the Thibaut Courtois toenail just put one round the post. So sometimes you need something. You need to stay fit. You need your big players to stay fit, and you need a little bit of fortune just to get that goal or whatever it takes. So yes, Manchester City are a great side and the favourites to win this competition again. Yeah. But sometimes you need a little bit more, and that might come this year. It might give them that little bit of luck and might favour another team.
And also they need to go through that experience that they went through. Look at that, because they panicked. That second half, if we remember, against Real Madrid when it was going the other way, they lost the plot as a team. You know, they went individual, they were looking at each other rather than clear. They hadn't experienced that as a team. They have now. So they have to learn from that and know that might come around the corner. I don't think it'll come in this group stage with the opponents that they've got, but further into the tournament, that's what when you say, you know, experience, that's it. When you've actually experienced things like that, you've learned. All them players come off that pitch thinking, we weren't the Man City that we know we are. We've got to stay together when that happens. When a team has a little 5-minute spell like Madrid did, and the atmosphere changes in the game, they haven't had that experience of going all the way and by winning by hook or by crook. Some clubs can do it.
OK, well, let's get some reaction then. They're a club desperate to win it. Let's hear from the man at the top, Ferran Soriano. He's talking to Matt Smith. Matt.
Ferran, let me then about the draw. Are you happy from a Manchester City point of view with the teams that you will be playing in the Champions League this season?
I guess you can never be completely happy or unhappy with the draw. But yes, I think we have good teams to play. It will be great to go back to Sevilla. Yes. Last time we went there was 2015. Even Copenhagen, we were there in 2009. And of course, Dortmund, we were there recently. But it will be a special game, especially for Erling Haaland and for Ilkay Gundogan.
Sometimes it feels like the fates bring teams and players to certain places, and for Erling, I guess these two matches will be very important.
You can count on it. You can count on this fate. But I think both will enjoy it. It's a fantastic stadium. Last time we went there, it was empty because of COVID. So it will be actually a great experience for fans, both in Dortmund and in Manchester. So we're very excited.
It's inevitable you'll know most of the teams because you're in the Champions League every season. That's one of the reasons Manchester City are such a growing force in this competition in Europe. Is it the number one priority, do you think, for the club this season, this competition?
No, it's never. It's never. Our priority is always the Premier League. We work for it every day. This is our bread and butter. And the Champions League, of course, it is an aspiration, but it's not an obsession. We will win it, I am sure.
I like that confidence, don't you?
I love the way he said bread and butter. I just love that.
Let's talk about one of their opponents, Sevilla. What sort of shape are they in coming into this new season?
Not great shape. No. They sold Jules Koundé, of course, to Barcelona. Diego Carlos has gone to Steven Gerrard's Aston Villa. Unfortunately, got a terrible injury. They haven't replaced them, really. They've just brought people up from within the camp. They haven't brought anybody else in. They brought a few players in, but they've started La Liga very slowly. So I don't think Manchester City have got anything to worry about. Let's see if they bring any players in this last week. But starting La Liga, they've really struggled severe.
Matt Smith with Gary Mabbott from Tottenham Hotspur. Gary, a decent group, I would say, given obviously the quality of the teams in this competition, would you say?
Well, to be honest, it's been a fantastic couple of days. We come here, obviously, all the elite teams in Europe, everyone gets together, fantastic event that's put on. And it's great for us because you get to meet, ex-colleagues, ex-opponents, and all the other clubs all come up here. So we all get together, and then, of course, we're all friendly for a couple of days. Then suddenly the draw is made. So, I mean, to be honest, you're waiting there for the draws to come out. Obviously, we got Eintracht Frankfurt, we got Marseille, and we got Sporting Lisbon. Some very, very tough games. But I think everybody knows each other so well, I think, in European football now. And we've got a team that, I believe this season could be a force to be reckoned with. So, yes, it's a fantastic occasion. We're delighted with what's taken place here over the last 2 or 3 days, all the information for where the games are being played, etc. But, of course, now we've got a league that we know who we're playing, when we're going to be playing them, and it's always going to be tough. We're playing against the elite in Europe, but I think as a club, looking at our opponents, we know them so well, played them numerous times over the years, and very much looking forward to it.
Yeah, and you'll remember great nights yourself as a player in a Tottenham shirt in Europe. I would think about places like Marseille and Lisbon, and you'd have good memories of places like that with the atmosphere and the fans.
Absolutely. And that's what's so great about this event, because everyone gets to reminisce on the past, on the future, on what's happening in the game. And yes, I mean, there's some fantastic stadiums we're going to be playing at, some fantastic trips to go on, and it's some very, very tough games. But to be the best, you got to beat the best, and so that's always been my philosophy. I love playing against the best teams, so that's what we tend to thrive on that. And so we're looking forward to the competition. To be back in Champions League for the first time in 3 years is fantastic, and very much looking forward to it.
Good luck for the season.
Thank you very much.
There you go, Gary Mabbott saying he loves a bit of reminiscing. So do we. You made your Monaco debut against Marseille.
Did I?
Yeah.
See that?
See?
Did I?
I'm telling you things you didn't even know.
I don't even know.
We're going to bring back you and Waddle and just sort of recreate the Diamond Lights moment. What do you think? I think we should do that.
We'll do it in French, yeah.
Yeah, no, let's not. Look, let's be serious. That's a nice looking draw for Tottenham.
Oh, I did have a smile on my face, yeah. Listen, the games have still got to be won, but you couldn't have asked for a better draw than that. Frankfurt, Sporting and Marseille. The away games in Europe, wherever you go, are always going to be a tough game. Marseille is a tough place to go and play. But at the moment, those 3 teams, those 3 clubs at the moment, you've got to fancy Tottenham to qualify.
Brent said at the start of the programme he likes the way they look because they're not playing great, but they're picking up results. What have you made to the start of the season under Conte?
I echo that. I think he's recognised that they're not great in terms of the full 90 minutes worth of rhythm, but they're picking up points. They're hard to beat, and I think they have a squad now. I think in the past years, if Son or Harry Kane wasn't playing, you're looking at them thinking, can they score? And especially, can they win? But now with Richarlison, Perisic, I think they've added quality, and especially Perisic, he's won the competition. So I think they've got a well-rounded squad now. So I think they're especially built for cup competitions this season.
They've got a steeliness in it. They look as if they're tough now, don't they? I don't want to go on about what we think of them in the past, but this year under Conte, they look as if they've got a bit of a backbone about them. As Jolien said, they've got a big squad, which will help them because every team who they're going to face are going to go Saturday, Wednesday, right through to the World Cup as well. So to have a beefed-up squad will help them. And when you analyse that team, Frankfurt finished, yes, they won the Europa League. That's why they're top of the group. Sporting Lisbon have been selling all their good players all over the summer, haven't they, to bring funds in. Marseille, again, that's a group that you'd be really looking forward to if you're a Tottenham fan, and you'd be feeling very, very confident.
Let's have a quick mention, actually, about the amount of football that we're going to see over the next few weeks. I mean, when you see all of the games lined up, you think we've got to get through all those matches by the first week of November. And there's midweek Premier League, and there's international break. Then there's a World Cup. Then they're back for a few days, and they have to kick the season off again. I mean, this is going to be relentless from a manager and a player's perspective the next few weeks.
100%. And it's easy for fans to watch and recognise that the physical element of it, but the mental capacity that's going to take to stay tuned and to recover and to eat well and make the right decisions outside of the pitch, it takes a toll. And as you said, a lot of these players will be spending so many nights away from families, which again has an impact. So there's a lot of football to be played, but I'm glad I'm not involved.
I think fans and us and ourselves and everyone's got to realise that performances will have to peter out. They'll go a little. Some of the games might not be as exciting, and the quality might not be there because absolutely fatigue comes in. That's why your squad needs to go deep. The 4 English teams have got deep squads, and they can. Whoever you're playing on a Saturday, you can plan for the Tuesday or the Wednesday Champions League night. Spurs can do that now. Chelsea obviously can, and Liverpool and City. So it's the depth of the squad that's the reason why. And I think that's where Spurs have come into it. If we're talking about Tottenham at the moment they're not playing at their very best. They're nowhere near their best. There's a lot more to come from that squad, but they're picking up a win, they're picking up a draw. They might have to do that in the Champions League. They might have to go to Marseille, Frankfurt. They're not easy games. On paper, that looks a better group than the others that were there for Spurs. But those away games in Europe are very tough, particularly those two stadiums.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's a squad game more than ever before, but actually, even though they're hard, because every game in the Champions League is tricky, when it is this intense, it's almost more important than ever to get a favourable draw. Because you're going to have to be juggling your players.
All these away games are going to be hard. Going to Marseille, 60,000, we know how hostile that stadium. Every single away game is going to be difficult. But if you've got a beefed up squad and they're not, they finish 5th, 6th, 7th, 11th, like Eintracht Frankfurt in the league, of course it's easier than playing the champions. So we understand that. It's going to be hard, but the bigger squad you've got, that will tell in the end. Because, as I said to you, every single team on that piece of paper or in the draw behind us will be playing twice. It's going to be hardcore all the way through. The fans are going to love it. There's going to be football on the screens every single day till the end of June, isn't it? With the Champions League and the World Cup and the Premier League cracking on. It's going to be brilliant. But expect performances to dip slightly, when it round about the Christmas time period.
All right, well, let's have a look at another group, the group involving Celtic. And all of us are excited for Celtic fans because you look at that and you actually say, do you know what? They're in with a shout. And they get the glamour tie that you really want. You wouldn't want to go through the group stages without a glamour tie, and they get the most glamorous one of all, to be honest.
Oh, yeah, 100% to have the champions of Europe coming in to town, obviously to compete, and that won't be an easy game for Real Madrid. We spoke about their atmosphere there numerous times and how intense that can be, but they're looking at the group and the teams individually. They'll think they can beat Leipzig and Shakhtar, so they'll put themselves right up there in qualifying for the knockout stages.
They will. They'll genuinely be saying we can pick that. They won't be looking at perhaps winning the group, but I think they're capable of that. Even Madrid, they could win the 3 home games. They've turned other big clubs over up there, and when the atmosphere is going, there's nothing like it. So they'll feel confident that they can get out of that group and go into the last 16.
What do you make of Real Madrid after the changes in personnel, particularly the departure of Casemiro, who was so central to them?
They're okay. They're okay, Jake. They've lost Marcelo, they've lost Isco, they've lost Casemiro. Yes, they brought in Rudiger and Tchouaméni, but they're not necessarily as strong as they were last year. They got Hazard back, who's fully fit. They've started La Liga off really well. So, yes, it's great the fact that Celtic will play them. They'll always be there and thereabouts. Madrid will look at that and think, Shakhtar Donetsk, they seem to play them every single year. But Shakhtar are playing in Warsaw now, of course, not in Ukraine. RB Leipzig, they've met. And again, from a Celtic point of view, I think they've got a brilliant chance. Great that they're going to go and play Shakhtar and Leipzig, but then Madrid. Depending when you're going to face Madrid, you might get them at the last game of the group when they're already qualified, like they did last year. You never know. So it all takes a little bit, but it's a wonderful, wonderful competition for them to
They might do a Sheriff. You never know.
They might do a Sheriff and win. Yeah. It didn't cost Madrid at all, did they? Losing to Sheriff at the Bernabeu, they went on to win it, so it could easily happen.
They're never that great in the
group stages.
It's not the Real Madrid that we all know until it gets to the knockout.
All right. Let's talk about Chelsea, shall we? Again, it's been an interesting start to the season for them, hasn't it?
Yeah, I don't think they're at where they want to be. I think there's more to come from them as well. Looking at this group, AC Milan, that's a great fixture. AC Milan, Chelsea, home or away. And, Zagreb and Salzburg there, you've got to say Chelsea are going to get through in this group, which is good. I think it's great. Looking at that, I think every English team and possibly Celtic could get through. Rangers, I think they're up against it. I really do. But I think Chelsea will get through this group, no doubt about. For them, it's about them improving as a group of players. They've got a very good squad. As I said before we started, they need a number 9.
Yeah, they do.
They do.
Do you expect more business before the end of this window?
From Chelsea? Chelsea seems to be buying everybody every single day, let alone be next week. Well, if judging by what you hear and what you read, they want Anthony Gordon, they need a number 9. I don't know whether they've got Anthony Gordon going as a number 9 or whether, but they certainly need another few players. They look, judging from their Leeds performance, they need a centre defender and they need a forward, don't they? And they seem to have too many wingers. So, I don't know who runs Chelsea, whether it's Todd Bowley, whether it's Thomas Tuchel, whether there's someone in the middle identifying players. But they seem to have a hell of a lot of players, yet they still need more. So it's a bit of a conundrum at Chelsea.
OK, it's going to be a conundrum as well, isn't it, for Victoria Pilsen to work out a way through. Let's just spare a thought for them. I mean, what a draw they've got. Bayern, Barca and Inter, the 6 times winners, the 5 times winners and the 3 times winners. I mean, they're going to get 3 great home games and have a bit of fun, but it won't last long, maybe. Yeah,
but they probably wouldn't have expected to get through regardless of the group. So if you're not going to get through, you're going to pick them 3 teams on paper anyway. So just enjoy the occasion, and it's not being disrespectful, but you don't expect them to qualify for the knockouts.
And actually, in the group, it's going to be great seeing Bayern and Barcelona and Inter going toe-to-toe, isn't it?
They are the spicy ones, aren't they? Bayern Munich, Barca, I don't care what teams are from yesteryear.
Lewandowski going back home. To a certain extent, going back home.
Stories everywhere.
Stories everywhere.
And there'll be plenty more stories from the Premier League as well coming your way, because we've got